Can you approve warrants?
I can, but I'm lazy.
Okay, I'll find someone else.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about yesterday. What happened? I noticed you went 42.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
You want to chat about it?
I mean, not really.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. Okay. Well, that works for me.
Yep.
Okay. Well, do you know why? Well, why did you go 42?
Because I'm a firm believer that everyone in this police department deserves to be spoken to with respect.
Yeah.
I don't think the way you conducted yourself, whether or not I
Yeah.
can agree with your call being right or not,
Yeah.
I think the way you handled that was not correct, and
Yeah.
I think you were not showing the respect that we all deserve with the
I
way
don't
you were
think-
yelling at us. And I,
Yeah.
as a person, that's just me. That's just a personal thing. If someone yells at me, I'm not gonna listen anyways. And if I'm not gonna listen to what you have to say anyways, whether or not it's valid is
Yeah.
not really the point here.
Yeah.
Then there's no point in me being there, right? I'm just gonna not listen to you anyways, because you yelled at us, and then
What
I'm
is
just
wrong
gonna
with this
create
PD?
an animosity between you and I.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that, you know?
Let me ask you a question, Opal. Do you think Larry got any respect yesterday?
I don't know. I wasn't the one that spoke to him. The guy that I spoke to, he said he didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You know, Larry's life was disregarded last night.
I do not.
Yeah. The entire police department ended up at the bodega as a consequence of Larry's life being threatened over an Apache helicopter. And we, in the entirety of the police department, chasing his friends instead of focusing on Larry.
At me.
And they were left. He was left by his own accord. So, I want you to consider for a second there, that when we respond to, civilians in distress, our job is to protect them, and it escalating into us chasing his buddies, into pressing Marty. At that point, like, why is anyone going to trust us?
I understand that you don't know me.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm actually not that full of myself that I can't recognize when I've handled a scene badly.
Well,
because I can, and
wait,
still I
was it-
deserve to not be yelled at.
Okay. Did you feel like you were personally attacked?
I think yelling over and over again at the radio, everyone shut the fuck up, is not the way we should be speaking to each other,
Yeah.
and we don't need to be raising our voices at each other to get a point across.
How do you do that when no one's listening on radio?
Well, then you do it once, okay? I don't really care about that, but then
Yeah.
you continued yelling. There's no need for that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the feedback. I'm not going to necessarily take it. That's
figured.
just, I mean, that's how I'm going to operate. If someone's life is in danger, sometimes you got to yell at folks, and if their feelings get in the way, that's kind of not really listen, I'm not going to, you're entitled to your opinion, right? But, the job in the police department is a privilege at the end of the day. And if a member of command, I'm giving you my perspective, right? If a member of command is witnessing disregard to life, and we got, law enforcement acting like bozos to the point where we're leaving a civilian's life in danger, sometimes you got to snap a little, because the alternative is we sit back and we watch as someone dies, and then we wash our hands and we just say, oh, well, it could have been better next time. But at that point, why are we here? So,
Yeah, I got it. My job is a privilege.
Yeah. Okay. So, was it your scene yesterday, or?
Yeah, it was, because I arrived on scene first. I saw them running around, and then they pointed their guns at me. So yeah, it was my scene.
So I think that's where things got confusing. Yesterday that scene started with Carmine. And then there was a separate scene. I think like what happened was, I think it was 3 different calls culminating at once. And I was paying very much attention to the radio. So well, let me roll this back. What did you respond to?
I responded to a call for shots fired. I arrived on scene. There was a blown.
Yeah.
Oh my god! There was a blown up vehicle by the gas station, and then a second one blew up as well.
Okay.
So I went to go talk to them, but talk to them because this is what I do. I don't roll up on a shots fired scene unless I have to and put everyone in handcuffs. I go and talk to them.
Yeah.
But 2 of them immediately started running away.
Okay.
Well, that is once we got enough units and they were done pointing their guns at me. 2 of them immediately ran away, so we went after them to go talk to them. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that one went.
Yeah.
I spoke to one guy at the gas station. I think Chaos said he was speaking to Larry. So that's what I was dealing with. I was talking to my guy, and everyone else was trying to talk to their guy.
How did we lose context of Larry having called us like and asked for our help like for 10 minutes prior to those shots fired?
I did not know that.
Okay. So that's where things went sideways. It was relayed over radio. There was 911 calls from Larry. All of this was stemming from an attack helicopter.
You know what I imagine happened? The reason I lost context to that is because I went to the ADMC block to go fuck with them because they had a gang meeting and then got threatened by the ADMC members with guns who told me I have 10 seconds to get out of there or get shot. So that's probably when that happened, which is why I didn't pay attention to it because I had a gun to my head.
So I want you to
10 minutes prior.
I want to put some context around this, right? Larry Knox was attacked by an attack helicopter with missiles, which ultimately resulted in all their vehicles getting blown up. And the individuals that were shooting in self-defense, regardless of whether or not those firearms were legal against the military.
That's still self-defense. That's still self-defense. Self-defense does not mean you have to use legal means. You're still liable for using an illegal firearm, but it does not mean it's not self-defense.
Right. So us sort of like targeting the victims in all this and ultimately resulting in Bobby getting held up. That yesterday was a bit of a shit show. Now, I don't know if this is kind of like where things have kind of landed. I'm going to assume that what I witnessed yesterday was just like a one-off, right?
100%. I mean, I'm telling you, if I had the context that Larry was under attack, that scene would have not gone like that.
Well, I
am in fact a huge fan of being with the victims, whether they're criminals or not, because they can still be victims.
Right. So, well, here's the important thing, right? I'm not gonna, I don't want to like point fingers at any one particular person because not one particular person could have resolved yesterday. I mean, there was 3 separate things happening simultaneously at that bodega. And I, quite frankly, put it as I had a chat with each and every person and I made it very clear. So for the first thing that I found very concerning was the reaction individually in the police force, where everyone felt like they needed to personally defend their own personal actions instead of view everything as more of a collective. So I don't really know how things have been handled in the past when it comes to like corrective measures, but no one individual person should ever feel like everything falls on their shoulders because at the end of the day, that's not how PD operates, right? Every call is everyone working together. So not one person can handle the, like, not any, it will never be that one person is responsible for how everything happens. Does that make sense? So
I mean, it's not possible for any one person to be responsible for an entire thing, because at the end of the day, we work as a unit.
Okay. So, my point there is, like, that I think there needs to be a lot of reflection based on yesterday. I wish you were part of that conversation. I understand why, you know, maybe you don't, you know, resonate to, you know, yelling and whatnot. You'll probably get that from me. Probably continue seeing that from me. Yesterday was actually like a 5 out of 10 in terms of screaming. It gets worse. But
well, then I'm telling you right now, and this is probably my biggest character flaw, that I do not take to that well.
Yeah.
I am more than fine with discussing things I did wrong. I am the last person to ever say I am perfect. I am the last person to say, no, actually, I'm right, you're wrong. I did nothing wrong at all, because I can see when I did things wrong. And given the context you just gave me, yeah, I did things wrong. I can say that.
Yeah.
But being spoken to that way, and that probably comes from how I grew up, I just shut off and I stopped listening.
Which
is why I left yesterday, because I do think what you had to say was probably very important. But if I'm gonna shut off and not listen anyways, what's the point of you saying something important, you know?
If you witnessed a police force actively endangering a life and radio is not being listened to and you're hearing a bunch of bullshit on the radio, how would you just what would you do?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, that's a flaw of mine, that I shut off. I'm not, you know.
I see what you're saying. This is you personally.
Yeah, this is a personal thing for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you can understand why it's going to happen in the future, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take that into consideration.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, there is a massive report on it. So I definitely recommend you take a look. And, you know, that said.
The phone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate the conversation, Opal.
Me too.
All right. Okay. All right. You're not going to take it against me, are you?
What? No,
Okay.
I'm actually more mature than that, which is why I needed, you know, this half day off to be mature about it.
Okay.
I have no ill feelings towards you.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Opal, and thank you for handling it.
You have ill feelings towards me?
No. I wasn't sure if.
Fuck, Brian?
Well, listen, I was trying to figure out, like, you know,
yeah.
I get it. I get where you're coming from. But I hope you understand that when I yell next time, it's not, you know, I can't change me either.
Yeah, no, I get it.
All right. Okay. I appreciate it, Opal. Take care, all right?
Yeah, appreciate you too. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye. That makes sense. I think it's important to draw out that that's Opal specifically. That's her, like, trigger, I guess. But obviously that's gonna, if we ran that back, Brian would do exactly the same thing.
All right, okay, thank God, because holy shit.
Came out of nowhere as well, just all of a sudden.